You've seen a Bible, right? Thin pages, tiny words, and maps of places that are all somewhere near Jerusalem. But what if I told you the very first page of the story was missing? In Genesis 2:13, it says one of the rivers from the Garden of Eden flows straight through a land called Cush. And here's the insane part. Cush isn't in the Middle East. It's in Africa. Once you see that one detail, the entire book changes forever. It's like finding a secret key that unlocks a completely different story. For 400 years, we've been told a lie. We were taught that Africa was just some random place the heroes of the Bible had to escape from, that it was on the sidelines of everything important. But if you actually read the Bible, it's packed with African kings, queens, and generals who are right in the middle of the action. They aren't footnotes, they're main characters. Today, we're finding the chapter of the Bible they forgot to teach us, and it will change everything you thought you knew. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. Genesis, it lists 4 massive rivers coming out of the Garden of Eden. And guess what? There's only one we can still find on a map today. It's called the Gihon, and the Bible says it flows around the whole land of Cush. To the people writing the Bible, Cush was Nubia, what we call Sudan today. Think about that. Before Adam and Eve, before anything had even happened, Africa was already on the map. It's not a side story, it's part of the starting lineup, woven into the fabric of creation. Africa was there from day one. How crazy is that? Now, let's fast forward to the prophet Isaiah, and you won't believe what he says. Cush isn't just a place anymore, it's a military juggernaut. It was a superpower so strong that even the pharaohs would hire their archers. And it gets crazier. In Zephaniah 3:10, the Bible says God will bring his chosen people back from Cush. God literally says he sees his faithful followers in Africa. This is a massive deal, and archaeologists have proven it. Today, there are more pyramids in ancient Cush, that's Sudan, than in all of Egypt. That means they had insane wealth, genius engineers, and a powerful government. This was a massive civilization with its own writing and its own culture, centuries before cathedrals in Europe were even a thing. One of their kings, Tiraka, was so powerful, he actually ruled Egypt as a pharaoh. This was a real-life African empire that we just never hear about. Okay, we all know the story. Egypt enslaved Israel. They were the bad guys. But it is so much more complicated than that. This same Egypt, the place of slavery, was also the place that saved Jacob's entire family from starving to death. And later, it's where baby Jesus was hidden to protect him from a king who wanted to kill him. And get this, Pharaoh's daughter, an Egyptian princess, adopts Moses. The guy who frees the slaves was raised as a prince of Africa. The Bible refuses to make Egypt a simple villain. It's the place of oppression and the place of safety. It's a terrifying empire and the place that raised a liberator. We lose all of that amazing complexity in the simple Sunday school version, but it's written right there in the text for anyone to see. Get ready, because this next part is going to blow your mind. In Numbers 12, Moses' own brother and sister start attacking him because of his Cushite wife. And Cushite means one thing, a woman from Cush, a black woman from Africa. They are literally being racist and judging him based on his wife's nationality. And you will not believe what God does next. God doesn't agree with them. He sides with Moses, and he punishes Miriam for her prejudice. This is a huge theological statement. The first time God ever defends an interethnic marriage in the Bible is for an African woman. This moment screams across history, and yet nobody ever talks about it. Let's go to 1 Kings 10, where we meet one of the most powerful women in the entire Bible, the Queen of Sheba. Today, we know Sheba was in modern Ethiopia or Yemen, making her an African or Arabian queen. She rolls up to Jerusalem with camels loaded with more gold and spices than you can imagine. But she's not just there for a tour. She's there to test King Solomon with riddles and challenge him intellectually. And she leaves as a believer in God. In Ethiopia, they say she left pregnant with Solomon's son, who started a royal dynasty that ruled for 3,000 years, all the way to the 1900s. They even say she took the original Ark of the Covenant back with her, and it's still there today. Whether you believe that or not, the Bible shows us an African queen who was an intellectual powerhouse, a spiritual seeker, and a major player on the world stage. Now let's jump to the New Testament in Acts 8, where we meet this incredible guy, an Ethiopian eunuch. And this isn't just some random dude. He's the finance minister for the Queen of Ethiopia. He is a super important and powerful man. The Apostle Philip finds him reading the Bible, explains it to him, and the eunuch immediately asks to be baptized. Think about what this means. The very first person evangelized after the church begins, the first outreach to a non-Jew, is a high-ranking black African official. This isn't just a small detail, it's a foundational moment for Christianity, proving from the start that the gospel is for everyone. And yet, almost every painting and stained glass window of this scene makes him look like a white Roman, completely erasing his African identity. Now we come to the most important moment in Christianity. In 3 of the Gospels, as Jesus is collapsing under the weight of the cross, the Roman soldiers grab a man from the crowd to help. That man's name is Simon of Cyrene. And guess where Cyrene is? It's in modern-day Libya. It's in North Africa. A black African man was forced by the empire to share the physical burden of the cross and walk with Jesus to his death. Mark's gospel even names his sons, Alexander and Rufus, because they became well-known leaders in the early church. An African man is literally at the center of the crucifixion story, helping carry the cross. How is this not in every movie? It's one of the most powerful images in the entire Bible. This next point is the most important one to understand, because it was used to do so much damage. For hundreds of years, people have claimed that Africans were cursed by God, descending from Noah's son Ham. But here's the massive problem. The Bible never curses Ham. Read it yourself. Noah curses Ham's son, Canaan. And where was Canaan's territory? Modern-day Israel and Palestine. The curse was about losing land, not skin color. This one twisted, evil misreading of the text was used 400 years ago to justify the horrors of the Atlantic slave trade. It was a fake biblical excuse for unbelievable cruelty. And that horrible lie got stuck on repeat for centuries. Correcting this lie isn't just about getting history right. It's about dismantling a weaponized myth and giving Africa back the dignity the Bible always gave it. Thankfully, the truth is finally coming out. In 1993, a scholar named Dr. Kane Hope Felder released the original African Heritage Study Bible, and it was insane. He went through and found every single African reference in the Bible. There are over 1,000 of them. 1,000. He wanted to show the world the massive contributions of Africans to the biblical story. On top of that, modern DNA science now proves that all modern humans came from East Africa. And if you go to museums today, you'll see artifacts from ancient Nubia that show they had writing, kings, and advanced religion centuries before Europe did. The evidence was never hidden. We just weren't looking. We were so zoomed in on a story about Europe that we missed half the world. If your mind is as blown as mine is right now, and this is changing how you see the most popular book ever written, then do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. Because believe me, we are just getting started exploring the kingdoms and people they never told you about. So why was this incredible African history erased from the story? The answer is simple: power and control. Colonial powers needed a story that made them look like saviors, bringing civilization and religion to a dark continent. A Bible that shows powerful African empires from the very beginning completely destroys that story. It just didn't work for them, so they just erased it. Maps in classrooms literally cut Africa in half. Commentaries skipped over the parts about Kush, and Hollywood cast white actors to play African characters, cementing a fake image in our minds. For centuries, this lie felt normal, but here's the good news. Once you see Africa in the Bible, you can't unsee it. Every mention of Egypt, every story about Kush, every person from Libya lights up. You see the full story, and it's permanent. And this isn't just ancient history, it matters right now. When African Christians read about the Ethiopian eunuch, they're not just reading a story about a stranger. They're seeing their own ancestors at the very beginning of their faith. When black kids read about Simon of Cyrene, they see someone who looks like them written into the most important moment in the Bible. This is called identity hermeneutics, and it's a big deal. It's when you read yourself into the story, not because you're forcing it, but because you were always there. Your faith stops feeling like something that was imported from another country and starts feeling like your own ancestral story. It's an incredible reclaiming of who you are. The Bible never forgot Africa. The people who told the story did. From the Garden of Eden to the Hill of the Crucifixion, Africa gave us queens, warriors, prophets, and even the man who physically carried the cross. Reading the Bible with your eyes open doesn't change the text. It just restores the full-color version that was hidden for way too long. So pass this on, share this video, because nobody should ever grow up thinking their story starts with slavery. It starts with ancient rivers, powerful kingdoms, incredible wisdom, and a man who rode home with the best news in the world.